Hello everyone, this is Mumbo and welcome to 50 projects for your survival world. Now, we've all been there. When you start up yourself a fresh Minecraft world, you think to yourself, I have got a ton of projects and a ton of plans. Then, a couple of weeks pass and suddenly you've finished all your projects and plans and you're sat there thinking, I have no idea what I'm going to do next. Well, hopefully, this video is going to come in handy for you because I'm going to provide you with a bunch of ideas for things that you can build in your survival world. Think it should be fairly interesting, so let's crack on and I'll show you what I've got for you. So naturally, the first project of a survival world should be the dirt hut, but then you're going to want to improve from that. You want to make yourself a house, then you want to make yourself a bigger house, then of course you're going to want to build a castle with a surrounding village, a port, an airport, and finally you're going to end up with a bit of a kingdom. But anyway, moving on from that boring stuff, let's get on to the more useful bits and pieces. A mineshaft is probably a good place to start. It's half the name of the game, mining is extremely important, but then you're going to want to add in an automatic mining system which transports all of your items up into your sorting system. But then of course with all of this mining that you're doing, you're probably going to pick up quite a bit of rubbish, so you're going to want an integrated rubbish bin system. And while we're on the topic of dispenser based bits, you should get yourself some ender stations because they're pretty useful. Now to get to all of the ender pearls that are going to fill up your ender stations, you're probably going to need yourself an enderman farm or an ender. These are a really fun redstone project and they get tons and tons of XP. But then of course, once you've done that, you're probably going to want to transport the ender pearls outside of the end because the end's a bit of a pain in the bum. So I'd suggest setting up an ender pearl transportation system that carries them away into the spawn chunks. Speaking of the spawn chunks, why not build an iron farm? Once you've done that, why don't you just build yourself a bigger iron farm? Then build yourself the biggest iron farm. This is the Iron Titan designed by Tango Tech. It's extremely useful and extremely good at getting huge quantities of the silver stuff. But of course for that you're going to need a bulk storage system and also an auto crafting system that will allow you to make all of those iron blocks. Another great thing that you can do with the iron is build yourself a gigantic roller coaster, but of course they're a little bit old school these days, so I'd suggest building yourself a slime block coaster because they're considerably more fun. But to get all of those slime blocks, you're probably going to need yourself a slime farm, which involves finding a slime chunk, clearing out a massive area, then building a ton of platform. Now that you've acquired more slime blocks than you can count, I'd suggest heading over to CubedHost's channel to check out what he's been up to. First off, build a small little robot, then build a slightly bigger one, then finally build an absolutely gigantic one that fires missiles and chucks TNT everywhere just because you can. But of course, that's going to involve quite a lot of redstone blocks, and to get those, you're going to need yourself a witch farm. Probably with a perimeter. And of course, the best use for all of the glowstone and redstone that's being produced by the witch farm is disco lighting. You want to create yourself a party, you want to have loads and loads of friends around, but they're going to need drinks, so you're going to need to grab yourself a potion brewing station, and to brew up potions, you're going to need yourself some nether warts, so I'd suggest creating a nether wart farm. While we're in the nether, you might as well make a blaze farm, and also a wither skull farm, because let's face it, wither's pretty fantastic. Now this one is going to sound fairly unrelated, but I'd now suggest building a tree farm. Why have I linked that straight after the withers thing? It's because of course you can automate tree farms using withers, which is absolutely fantastic. I'd suggest running the drops out from that tree farm down into a smelter so that you can turn them into charcoal, and then you can use that charcoal to power your new super smelter, which will get you loads of items very quickly. Now we've been talking about a lot of hot stuff recently, the nether and then of course the super smelter, so why not flip all of that around and build yourself a gigantic snow globe, just because why not? But of course, sticking on the winter theme, you're going to want to grab yourself some ice, so I'd suggest creating an ice farm, because that will allow you to create very fast nether tunnels and also mass item transportation systems using water streams, which is extremely useful. Now I'd suggest running those items up into storage silos, which are essentially bulk storage systems with lamp indicators, because they're pretty awesome looking. And what are you going to fill those silos with? Well, of course, you're going to need to build a few more farms. First off, you want a sugarcane farm, then you want a melon and pumpkin farm, then you want a cacti farm, a chicken farm, a beef farm, a sheep farm, a gold farm, and a general mob farm to gather yourself up some gunpowder. Then head off to the desert, clear out the entire thing, gather up loads and loads of sand, combine that with the gunpowder, and create a bunch of TNT. Then place that TNT all over your world and blow the whole thing up, because that seems like a good way to end. So there we go, that rounds up 50 projects that you can build in your survival world, and the best thing about all of this is that I could have done 100, 200, 300, 1000, because Minecraft really is what you make of it. Of course, it's a completely sandbox game, and you can do whatever you really fancy, which is why I absolutely love it. But before we go, I just want to mention that if you do fancy supporting the channel just a little bit, and also looking really good this Christmas, the Mumbo Jumbo merchandise is now available. There'll be a link to that one down in the description. But of course, if you have enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.